So it's me, your board man, NJ, number two, the city with the number two, and TO. Let's go. Indeed. So I have various things that I can talk about on this video, but let's try to go and stick to just the first and foremost updated news about the Bartram Trail High School in St. John's, Florida, their dress code policy. So, I don't know all the full details, even though I think I do. I just don't know how to fully word them all. But I want people to, and I hate to make this all about me, and because I definitely it's not about me, but I definitely want to make at least a excerpt of it about me, because it's amazing that I market myself as a role model, mentor, big brother to the youth. Now I'm only 22, heading on 23 years old. For anybody who did not know that already, graduated from Allegheny High School, part of the class of 2018. If anybody didn't know that already, what's again? And what annoys me is that I market myself also as the ambassador of the county, and so on, let alone the ambassador of this state, because I love the Sunshine State. It's my state, the state of Florida. I was born and raised here in my hometown, Jacksonville, Florida. Just a little brief history about me. But as I'm continuing here, it's amazing that I market myself as the ambassador of the county, right? And it's just amazing how, particularly for St. John's, it's amazing how I market myself as the ambassador of really the entire county and so on. But it's amazing, let alone within our schools as well, the ambassador of our schools. What I'm so disgusted about is when I look at reports about this, this dress code situation in Bartram Trail, it makes me almost embarrassed to even call myself the ambassador of of the county or the ambassador of these schools, because we should not be making the news for this kind of stuff. We should not be making the news for stuff like this. One of the top reasons why I say that is because, even though I went to Allegheny High School, by the way, but again, ambassador for it all. We should not be making the news for stuff like this, ladies and gentlemen. I have read way too many school reviews over the last, couple years that have literally pretty much divulged all of this and more when it comes to the the destruction of the youth and or the garbage that goes on within our education system. And what that means is, like I say, we should not be making the news for dress code problems when it comes to stuff like this. We just shouldn't be. Dare I say, we should be able to handle stuff like this as appropriately, cleanly, and safely in-house, respectfully towards the students, respectfully with our staff and how they operate, and the administration and just the county in general. No school, no county should be making the news for these dress code issues. Because I've read a lot of school reviews where it literally said that the school is pretty much, and I mean just in general, any school, lots of schools, are being sexist towards the dress code. I've read a lot of school reviews where it said a lot of schools, are being very sexist towards the dress code, and they're pretty much, shaming girls for their bodies and so on. I've read a lot of reviews where it said that, and I'm thinking to myself, horrified, like, this should be more common sense than anything. It really should. Whether you have to handle it on a base by base, a base by base description, or whether it, God willing, can be a one size fits all. Either way it goes, we should be able to handle these dress code problems in-house. In-house with our students, in-house with our administration, in-house with our faculty and staff, in-house with the parents, probably just above all, in-house with the parents. We should be thriving to have the most truth and transparency, the most truth and transparency, if that fits the sentence I'm trying to refer to here. We should have as much truth and transparency. We should be thriving for that, not just with St. John's, but any other county on the face of this planet. We should be thriving for truth and transparency on all bases, let alone when it comes to dress code. We should be thriving for that. Indeed, 110% thriving for that. And they know that we're not thriving. And because, like I say, if you know how to handle it appropriately in-house with your students, with your staff, with the parents / legal guardians, this crap shouldn't even make the news then. It should not make your local news.
The only reason why it ends up making your local news is because your administration or your staff don't know what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, handling it with the students and the parents, let alone how to, did I say let alone having the proper training, I guess you could say, with the administration, with the teachers and staff. You get the point. If we knew how to handle this the right way, with every factor that I just named, like for the third or fourth time in this video already in 5 minutes, if we know how to handle it correctly, we're not going to be making the news for stuff like this. We should not be making, no matter what school it is in whatever county, should not be making the news for dress code violations. Should not be. If you were to personally ask me, as Nathaniel Joshua Williams, aka NJ to the City, Nice Ambassador, proud alumni of Nice High School, let alone St. Johns County Ambassador, and more. Duval County Ambassador, Sunshine State Ambassador. I can go on and on, but you get the point. We should not be making the news for dress code malfunctions. Handle it in-house with the students, with their parents, students, parents, administration. Handle it in-house. Don't let it reach the news. Why? Because it doesn't need to reach the news. There's a way to handle it. Common sense, with common sense, fairness, balance, equality, character, you name it. This is not to shame the students, not to shame you at all. It really isn't. It's just saying that I know we can handle this situation in-house on whether it's a case-by-case basis or whether it's a one-size-fits-all basis. We can handle it most appropriately with character, with discipline, with dignity, without it ever hitting the news, let alone before it hits the news, but pretty much without it ever hitting the news. We can do that if we know how to / want to and decide to move in truth and transparency. Not only with the Lord, but with, again, all those factors that I keep naming. The student, the parent, the deans, the administrators, you name it. We can handle it better, cleaner, safer, wiser if we just try to. If we just try to. And then the PR statement that Barton Show put out, in my best opinion, or the county put out, whichever one put out, the PR statement they put out, it was all PR in terms of it was something to save face. Why do I say that? Because I've read too many school reviews where it pretty much glorifies it. They're just saying this to save face. Because when it comes down to it, behind closed doors, when these conversations are being had, they're pretty much telling people to, kind of compared to sports a little bit, to not let the students run the school. And if you have any idea about what's going on in sports, particularly with the NFL and or NBA, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Only difference is, only problem with that phrase is, you really can't have a school without your students, can you? Which is why I incentivize and preach, possibly religiously, schools, any school, take pride in working with your student body. Take pride in working with your parents. Or, and take pride in working with everybody / anybody of which you God first possibly can to make the safest, the kindest, the greatest, loving, caring, fostering environment for your students and your faculty and staff. Pretty much, again, like I've been preaching religiously for years, let it be a school home. Let it be a school family. Build a school home. Make the culture be of a school family. It's not hard if you just know how to lead. If you know how to lead, let alone know how to lead with truth and transparency, and know how to lead with truth and transparency, and also approach things with your character and kindness. Your students, 9 out of 10, if not 7 out of 10, will respond glowingly if they know they can trust you. Trust me, most students, 7 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10, do not take pride in getting in trouble. Do not take pride in going to the dean's office. They will cooperate with you if you just show them respect. Vice versa, the parents want to cooperate with you if you just show them respect. Show them respect, kindness, character. You get the point. It ain't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. To do this job and do this job effectively well, you can't have it as it's a negative, quote me, negative dictatorship. You can't have it like that. If it's a negative dictatorship, you'll never get the results that you want, and you'll continuously keep falsifying numbers, and you'll continuously keep on, artificially inflating things. Pretty much, you'll just keep on alienating your students, and nobody will ever want to come to you, and they'll look for reasons to go other places. They'll look for reasons to transfer to other schools, other counties, you name it. Now, I love our county. My home county, my first county, is Duval. That's the one that I came from before I went out to St. Johnston East High School. They're both my home counties, but my first one is Duval. That's the one that I originated from. And Duval got its own set of problems too that I'm trying to work with and fix. But the biggest point of views that I'm trying to make there, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely is, if you move with truth and transparency, kindness and character, the students will respond, and they will definitely try what they can, vice versa, to represent, as proudly as they want to, if you just give them enough reason, to want to, and so on. You got to work with them. You got to work with them. You got to work with your parents. You got to work with your students. You cannot just keep on treating people whatever way you want to and pretend as if it's not going to trickle down. It's not going to have a overwhelming effect. If you were to personally ask me, that's just my opinion from all the reviews that I've read, let alone the common sense knowledge that I have. Because a lot of these issues, I promise to God, they are common sense, but you just don't handle them as common sense because you have your own ego, your own agenda, and your own biases or biasness. That's the biggest problem that I've seen within a lot of these schools, let alone school reviews. The issues are common sense. You're just not handling them like common sense because dare I even say, corrupt your own self, possibly. That's just my opinion. No one has to agree with that, Now, like I say, ambassador of the entire county, so I support all the schools. I represent all the schools, That doesn't mean anybody's going to, claim me on the front lines, but it don't matter. I'll claim myself, and I got plenty of other friends that will claim me, and plenty of other people that I went to school with that will, claim me and so on. But you definitely don't even have to claim me, because who am I kidding? I represent better than you do anyway. But, but like I say, because no offense to anybody that, works at Bartram, let alone anybody that works at the district's office, the difference between you and me is, not only that I, still young and went to the schools, but I take pride in being on those front lines with parents, with parents, students, staff, faculty, administration. I take pride in being on those front lines, having these constructive conversations about how we can make every school feel more like a home and the student body feel more like a family, let alone student body tag team with the staff and administration. I take pride in being on those front lines to see how we can build school homes to galvanize school families. I take pride in that. Especially for kind of like St. John's that is ranked #1 in our state towards education system, we need to have that. Because if you don't have that, then that is a serious problem. That pretty much means that you have the numbers to prove that kids are graduating, but you don't have the hospitality to prove that kids are actually, dare I say, enjoying their time with you, and they actually are making something of themselves after graduation, let alone they're even equipped with the tools, in their personal lives, dare I even say, to once again, blossom with flying colors after they leave you. This is not supposed to be a numbers game with graduation numbers. This is supposed to be a life, school, and sports game with gearing you up for the biggest and best success that we can in and out of our doors as a school student and as an alumni. Which is why we should always encourage our alumni to come back, to give back, volunteer, and want to be continuously involved in where they came from and where they started, and so on. From all K through 12 grades. That's what we should be inspiring and teaching and preaching amongst our kids, and so on. God first, I like to look at it as I absolutely represent the best of what St. Johns County can be, and or I would say sometimes what it already is, and or what it should be, and what it will be. With me continuously representing the way I like to represent, people, doesn't need to know that, let alone be on high alert of, what's going on when it comes to the future of, the direction of our county. And then, again, not just exclusive to St. John's. I mean, I represent pretty much all around the whole state, let alone my first county, Duval, and so on. But, I hope that these matters when it comes to the dress code and Bartram Trail are totally, handled swiftly and organically in real time, and I hope everybody heals, gets better from this, and we all just go back to being family like it's supposed to be. More coming soon, your boy, man. NJ to the city, out.